Now, we're going to move on to Oxford, a frequent hotbed of controversy surrounding net zero. It's been the victim or perhaps host of a number of schemes which have gone down variously very well and very badly with the people that live there. So we're going to go to Sandy now for an update on the way that she sees things in Oxford.
Thank you, Charles. Well, as if Oxford haven't been under the cosh for the last 2 years or so with the low traffic neighbourhood restrictions since, I think, February 2023, which is part of the 15-minute city traffic filters plan. These filters will now be in place by 2026, they've announced, and this was delayed by renovations to the railway station. So in the interim, Oxford City Council have decided to impose a temporary daily £5 congestion charge, and this has been put in place. Now, this hasn't gone down well, obviously, with the people there. It means that the residents must apply for a 100-day annual pass, while Oxfordshire residents just get a 25-day pass. That's the wider Oxfordshire residents just get a 25-day pass to avoid a £60 fine. And once your quota is used, a daily payment of £5 is required. This will impact businesses around Oxford even more than it has in the last 2 years. And this is what people are fearing. It's really causing a lot of poverty, as people will choose to go elsewhere. It's a final nail in the coffin for business owners. And that's the point. Small and medium-sized businesses, SMEs, have to go for the fulfilment of the corporate technocratic takeover of the UK. And this sudden announcement was made only 8 weeks ago, stating that the congestion was extensive and that bus companies complained about the length of journeys. People had only 6 weeks to respond to this consultation, which ran from the 23rd of July to the 3rd of August, which it will finish on the 3rd of August, overlapping with school holidays when many people are away. Now, I've got a quote here from Councillor Saj Malik, and he said, if the council want to cut congestion, all they have to do is take out the low traffic neighbourhoods, the LTNs. They've manufactured this, it's a manufactured thing. They've manufactured this extra traffic themselves and caused journey times to be slower. So let's take a look at the campaign flyer. So access to the railway station and shopping centre will require a daily charge of £5. Key workers, self-employed people, teachers, doctors, nurses and hospital staff are not exempt. I mean, it's a university town and there's 2 big hospitals. Parents of school-aged children will be greatly impacted when driving their children to and from school. There's no exemption for electric cars, strangely. So will it be temporary? These restrictions could increase in the future and change to include commercial vehicles. In order to get an exemption, self-employed drivers will have to get business insurance on their cars. That's really costly. And people who look after the elderly relatives will only get an exemption if they fill in details of their parents' or their relatives' health data via a registered GP, where normally they would just go and look after their parents. So, there's a bit of a data mining issue here, in my opinion. Ironically, it's clear that the congestion is due to the low traffic neighbourhoods that have been in place for over 2 years, and it's causing mayhem and increased traffic around the ring road. As Saj Malik said, it's a manufactured problem, a classic case of problem, reaction, solution. Now, this consultation ends on the 3rd of August, and over 12,000 people have already signed the consultation, the application to stop it. So if you live in Oxfordshire, do sign it, but obviously only if you live in Oxfordshire. Now, I'm pretty sure that due to the short consultation in a holiday period, this could be overturned under the Gunning principles, and I'll be speaking about those later on. Now, this is happening everywhere. It's an assault on the British people. Independent businesses are buckling under the strain of unnecessary climate policy. And for example, there's a shop called Marcus. It's a business in Hotwells of Bristol. This is happening all over the place, trading in outdoors equipment for over 60 years, and it's set to close. Their business, having got through COVID, they just can't continue under the clean air zone that's been imposed in Bristol. And these clean air restrictions will be putting people off coming in. So they'll be closing their doors, and it's a very sad thing. This really does seem to be an assault on the people of the UK. And, what do you think, Charles?
Well, Sandy, thanks very much. I think I was interested in the suggestion that the traffic had been created. Of course, that puts one in mind of what happened in London when the original congestion charge was introduced, because Ken Livingstone was certainly accused then of extending the times of traffic lights and then coinciding the start of the congestion charge with the beginning of the school half term in order to make it look like it had worked and that there was no traffic. So I think the cynicism required to create such a scheme that requires manipulation like this is something that really should be seen through. I mean, in terms of sort of campaigning in and around Oxford, what sense do you get of the activity that's going on?
Well, I think people are beginning to really get out and campaign against this. And I think the tide is turning. I mean, there's certainly been changes, and I'll mention this at the end of the show, because there are some wins happening where in certain areas these restrictions are being lifted, particularly the charges on people. And that's very important. I mean, sometimes the actual clean air bans are still there, but the charges, the fines are being lifted. So I think that's a partial win, and I think we need to hang on to those. Yeah.
Absolutely. Sandy, thank you very much. And as you say, you will be dealing with the gunning principles, which is very important, later on in the programme. Now, if you're new to UK Column, you may not know, but we are funded exclusively by our members and indeed the donations that come in from members and viewers. So if you'd like to consider joining UK Column as a member, we would be absolutely delighted. The front page of the website shows you with a large click here button exactly how you can do that, and it is what keeps us going. So we would be very pleased to have you on board. Now, as far as interviews go, tomorrow I'm pleased to say that we've got an interview with Morgoth, who, if you haven't heard of Morgoth, he is an online commentator, effectively providing intellectual commentary on the state of the country. And this specific conversation is with Ben Rubin, and it's based on a 1942 essay that George Orwell wrote entitled England, Your England. And he and Ben are looking at the way in which the current state of the United Kingdom relates to what Orwell was writing back in the 1940s. So that's at 1:00 tomorrow, Thursday. Please do tune in for that. Now, this evening, the Germ Warfare programme is with John Loughlin, and that will be very interesting. John himself, a presenter and interviewer who has an awful lot to contribute in terms of his opinions and expertise. So please do tune into that. And then as far as events are concerned, I must remind you again that Hope Freedom Music Festival will be over the August bank holiday weekend between the 22nd and the 25th. And also for those of you who are members and will be joining for Extra, I'm very pleased to say that we have Katie Jo Murphin, who's running the event, joining us for Extra. So please do come back for Extra to find out all about the festival itself if you haven't yet got your ticket. Now, and on the subject of tickets, another reminder that our tickets for our next On Location event in York, which is going to be on Saturday, the 18th of October of this year, went on sale on Monday to great fanfare and indeed were very well received. So the message I have to add to this slide is that tickets are selling fast. So please do get yours. I mean, I think having done a couple of these things now over the last year, there's absolutely no substitute for being in the same place with other people and sharing that information, having those conversations, and indeed listening to a range of speakers who really do know what they're talking about. Of course, they are to be announced, so we're going to keep the excitement building on that. I should also remind you that if for any reason you're unable to get to York, there are live stream tickets available, and they are selling on the website now. And we are so keen to promote this that actually Kenny has devised a small video here showing you how to go about the process of getting a ticket by going to shop.ukcolumn.org. So please do get amongst it, but I wasn't joking about the tickets selling fast. They really are. We've sold over a third already, and it only went on sale on Monday. So please get to it and make sure that we're not going to miss out on seeing you in October. Now, that takes us back to Vanessa. And as I said at the start of the programme, we were going to have time to have more input from Vanessa on the situation in Gaza. So, Vanessa, we'll go back to you now.